Hi class. How you doing? You having a good week? All right, good. You ready to make some art? Okay, good. I am too. You recognize these two paintings I have? Yeah, we learned about them over the last couple of weeks. And they're both by Claude Monet. And do you remember what the name of the style was? Sophia? That's right. It's Impressionism. That's right. And so with Impressionism, some of the characteristics were, Teddy? That's right, short brushstrokes. The painters used a lot of quick brushstrokes because a lot of their work was done outdoors, or what they said en plein air, which means outside in French. And they were trying to capture the fleeting light, which is why they were very quick. And some people thought that their work looked unfinished. But this was the beginning of modern art, and we could see how the styles are evolving, right? So we're going to look at the next style. It evolved from Impressionism to Neo-Impressionism, okay? And Neo, this is a way to remember it, means new in Greek. So Neo-Impressionism is really new Impressionism, okay? And one of the techniques within Neo-Impressionism is Pointillism, and that's what we're really going to be focusing on over the next couple of weeks, okay? So let's look at this fish. Now this fish represents pointillism. Why do you think that's so? How is this fish made? Can anybody guess? Yes? That's right, with lots of points. Points or dots. So it's very easy to remember, okay? When we are creating our artwork, pointillism, we're going to be using points, okay? Now let's do a little comparison here. I have here one of Monet's paintings next to Seurat. Seurat is one of the very famous pointillist painters. Okay, first of all, similarities. They're both outdoors. That's right. Yeah, we see the greens and the blues. So, similar palette. That's right. How do you feel when looking at both of these? Do you get the same feeling? Yeah, I would say you feel a little more relaxed with Monet's. I mean, of course, the one on the right, Seurat's, is definitely supposed to be relaxing. It's supposed to be a Sunday afternoon in the park. And these people are at leisure. So they're trying to be restful, but really with all the space on Monet's, I would say that's more relaxing. Now, of course, during Impressionism is when photography began. But it became more popular, right, as time went on, as we well know. And something with photography, especially back then, it was very pixelated, meaning lots of dots. You could see the dots in the photographs. And we can't help but to wonder if that was one of the inspirations for this technique. Okay, and also during this time, technology was making a big push. So people were busy, there was a lot going on, and so we're seeing that, we're feeling that from the art. Now, when I say technology and pixelated and we're moving forward, does this remind you of any characters that you might see quite often today? Okay, I'm going to show you some pictures. Minecraft, right? Do you see the similarities? The Minecraft characters are very pixelated, right? Technology, dots per inch, DPI, we see it here, okay? So we are talking about a historical style, and yes, styles evolve, but they also have inspiration from past times. I can't say Minecraft was inspired by pointillism, but when you are creating your pointillism paintings over the next couple weeks, your art, maybe you'll be inspired by Minecraft in your own video games. Okay, so you can keep that in the back of your mind as we move forward. Okay, so we're going to take a closer look at Paul Signac painting here. He's one of the very famous pointillist painters, and look at this title. It's really long. Opus 217, against the enamel of a background of rhythmic with beats and angles, tones, and tints, portrait of Monsieur Felix Fénéon in 1890. That's a long name. Okay, so first of all, he was being silly and scientific. He was really intrigued by the science of color. Okay, and when I say science of color, the reason being is because when using these points, he's using these points and the colors, and to have the eye mix the colors. Okay, so we're color mixing with our eye, whereas all these years we've been mixing colors with paintbrushes, right? And we'll go more into that in a few minutes. But I want to take a little closer look at this painting, like right here. Okay, see this top hat? Let's look at this top hat right here. Do you see the lighter piece here? What is that? It looks like a line from up close, but when we stand afar, right, we can see it's a glare. It's a glare on his hat from light. And that's what's so fun about creating the art with the points as well. The reason why they did it this way is because when you stand afar, the colors appear blended. Okay, so how he did that was the darker dots here, darker colors, and here's the lighter colors. Okay, so we can do that. We're going to create the tones and the values and the shades by mixing the colors with the points, okay, or the dots. All right, and the color wheel, do you remember this? Okay, so ever since maybe kindergarten, we've been talking about the primary colors in the color wheel. And as you can see the poster on the wall here, we always have it here for you. So if you forget what yellow and blue mixed create, you can look at the color wheel. Yellow plus blue equals green. Okay, and then here we have red and yellow equals Linda. That's right, orange. Okay, it's right there in the middle. Okay, so Mary, what is red plus blue? That's right, purple. Okay, so of course, like I said, if you forget, you can always look at the poster, but the more you do this, you don't even have to look. You're going to know this, and it sounds like a lot of you already know it. You don't even have to look at the poster. But we always did this, right, with mixing the paints with our paintbrush, which is so much fun. But now we're going to learn another way to mix, and that's with the dots and our eyes. Okay, so let's look at the Seurat's very famous painting, which I showed earlier, okay, Ascending on the Grand Jatte, which it's a French artist, a French painting. Okay, and like I said, from afar, right, our eye is blending all these colors together. We don't look at it from afar and be like, that looks like a bunch of dots. It doesn't look like a bunch of dots. But when we look at the close-up, right, when we move closer, that's exactly what it is. Okay, and we see that right here as well. Okay, so close up, look at this head. When you look really close, it does look like a bunch of dots, doesn't it? But then when you step back, you can see, oh, okay, though that looks like hair. That looks like he's got a mustache. You can see his face. Okay, so it's your eye mixing these colors, creating these tones and shades. Okay, so what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks is create your own Neo-Impressionist painting. Okay, so first step is going to be watercolor a page. Well, actually, wait a minute, let's back up. The first step is to brainstorm. Okay, what do you want to paint? I would suggest a landscape or something outdoors. Okay, so you can paint a blue sky, so blue on the top and blue, yes, blue on the top of the sky, green on the bottom for the grass, maybe some brown over here just for like the forest, or whatever you're going to do, it's just going to be a layer of color, okay? Because the most important part of this art are going to be the dots, okay? So we're going to let that dry, and then after it dries, you can use your markers or your colored pencils, but I suggest your markers, and to put the dots down, okay? And like I was saying, mixing the colors. So if you do like a red and a blue together, right, it's overall from afar, it's gonna look more purple, which is a darker color, okay? Now, another way we can do this is we're not gonna do just blue, red, and green, right? We can do the lighter greens, lighter green and yellow together, okay? And that's going to help you make your shadows, okay? So I'm going to demonstrate for you, okay? I'm going to paint, but I also want to say that when you place the dots, that's another way to create value, okay? Yes, we'll have the background color, so that helps. So you can put the dots a little farther from each other, and that will make it appear lighter as well. And the closer they are together, touching, it's going to appear a little darker, right? So I'm gonna demonstrate for you, but first I want to show you an example. Okay, this is something similar to what you'll be doing. Okay, there's a layer of paint on the bottom. Okay, and then the artist went back, the student went back, and just points. Okay, you can see the dots up front. This is just like the famous painters, right? Just like the famous painters from afar. We can see like the lighter and the darker, and okay, there's a darker green. I guess that's a little shadow. Like the sun as well. And here we can see that orange dots were used to create the shadow and to give it more dimension, right? And just like with the trees, the darker dots are to give it dimension because the light is on the right, okay? So I'm going to leave this up while I demonstrate. So I'm going to demonstrate for you how it's done, and you can get started. While I'm working, you can be working, but I'm also going to be walking around the classroom. Okay, I'm going to make sure you're on point, pun intended, and we're going to have fun with this. Okay, if you have any questions, ask. I also left you a handout. The handout has the examples of these slides as well, and then you can write notes on it too as you're going along. If you're coming up with some ideas or little sketches, okay, you can put that on the handout as well. But you don't have to hand in the handout. That's for you. It's for your notes. Okay. Let's see. Does anybody have any questions? Oh yes. Okay. So today we're really going to be working on the first layer of color. I know you're really excited to get to the point. So, but we're going to have 2 weeks to work on it. Okay. So, again, if you have any questions, ask, and I look forward to seeing how we're going to work with this. All right, thank you.